I can't help but feel salty that I haven't been considered for any pre-release Halo stuff or any behind-the-scenes development, or I've never been approached or asked about stuff, and I don't know why. I can't help but feel like Squidward and feel jealous and feel like I'm missing out and feel like I've been snubbed for an Academy Award or whatever when I see people with far less of an audience and far less Halo experience getting the chance that I want. I feel like I've been blacklisted for a long time, and I've just kind of wanted an explanation of like where I stand with you guys as a company. And Microsoft sent me a Series X. Am I in good favors or not? Part of me is also salty from like a business standpoint. Like, why wouldn't you reach out to the guy with 1.2 million subs? Why are channels with 1% of that audience getting access to something that I don't have access to?
Fucking bitch and complain and fucking bitch to me, to your priest. Fuck it.
Okay, let me make this clear before I start ripping into this. I like Actman. I'm actually a fan of his and have been for quite some time, probably since he was at 250,000 subscribers. The fact that I've been a long-time viewer is one of the reasons why I found this video so frustrating and felt I had to respond to it, because I have a lot to say and I just want to get it off my chest. It's also funny that this came out when it did, because I was actually working on a lengthy response to Actman's quite honestly terrible video of Halo 4, where he gets just so much of the gameplay just factually wrong. To give you all an idea of what I mean by that, for example, he says things like close quarters combat is unviable on Legendary. That is false. He says that the Storm Rifle and Suppressor are useless, unviable weapons. That is also false. He says that the enemy melees kill you in one shot on Legendary. That is false. And he says that the Pulse Grenade is a useless weapon, which, as you guessed it, is absolutely false. I'll expand on those points when that video is actually finished, but then this video came about. Basically, this video was just a gigantic whinge on Actman's behalf that he didn't get an early access code for Halo Infinite's campaign. Meaning, unless his little sob story worked and the mass outrage he stirred up caused 343 to send him a code after all, he's simply gonna have to wait till the day one release just like the rest of us. Oh, the horror, I know. Let every heart on planet Earth bleed. Now, where I do somewhat side with Actman is that he certainly does deserve a code more than some of the other creators that were selected for this, namely YongYea of all people. Like, Actman is mainstream, but he is a Halo fan, and probably the biggest voice for the IP on YouTube. YongYea is mainstream for just about every gaming topic with a pulse that fucking exists on the internet. 343 gave YongYea a code because they know he plays ball their way. And while Actman has recently been criticized for cucking out to sponsors who could potentially sway his stance on a product, I personally doubt he'd do so for something like Halo, and I think 343 knows that. Either that or 343 are just petty of being criticized in the past by Actman, but then again, 343 have been criticized by other creators like Late Night Gaming, for instance, who did receive an early access code for Halo Infinite's campaign, so perhaps it isn't a criticism thing. Admittedly, it is kind of baffling, and I understand why Actman is certainly puzzled about it, but I still think that's no reason to feed the masses a sob story just because you didn't get early access to a product that everyone is going to have to wait for to play on day one. Especially when it comes from someone like Actman, who has literally everything going for him on this platform. I think he's gained like 8,000 subscribers on his second channel just by posting this video, and having just about every Halo YouTuber under the sun and their fan bases, as well as his own, flock to his aid and cause a mass outrage stir over this, when it's really nothing to fucking feel sorry for. I've also found that a lot of mainstream YouTubers, once they get a big following, they also get a big head and completely lose their perspective on life, and that's exactly what Actman is missing in this video of his. This little thing called perspective, and it's what frustrated the shit out of me. But anyway, I'm going to go through the video and respond to it. I'll try to keep it civil and add my own thoughts on how I think Actman should have handled this. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? This is the Actman here. I'm sick as a dog, and I'm twice as salty.
So why didn't you wait until you weren't sick exactly? Were you afraid that the thousands and millions of audience members you have weren't still going to be here in 2 or 3 days when you are well? I mean, this video is basically just one big gigantic sob story, so I guess being sick on camera fits the bill if you're just after sympathy from the masses, which, let's face it, that's exactly what you're after.
Get it? Get it? I'm a salty sea dog. I feel very weird right now. I feel very disillusioned with Halo in some ways, and the launch of Halo Infinite. I apologize if my voice sounds like this the whole video, but I just woke up from a bloody nose, and you know what? I just feel a certain way right now. I want to get it off my chest how I feel.
Again, then why didn't you just wait a day or two? Oh, right, sympathy, right. Yeah, okay, we'll get to that. Although, to be fair, he was also sick in his most recent video as well, which came out before I was able to finish this. And unlike this one, that video wasn't sympathy bait, but I don't know. I've seen so many disingenuous videos from YouTubers throwing out sob stories. My gut instinct is still telling me that it's to bait sympathy one way or another. There's no reason why this video and others couldn't have waited a day or so if that wasn't the case.
You know, last night I saw a bunch of tweets of people saying like, I got access to play the Halo Infinite campaign, and here's my preview, here's my breakdown, it's coming very soon. And all these people are posting Halo Infinite content for the campaign. And I'm sitting here and I've literally turned into Squidward. I don't want to be Squidward, but I'm looking through the blinds like y'all are having so much fun without me. I can't help but feel salty that I haven't been considered for any pre-release Halo stuff or any behind-the-scenes development, or I've never been approached or asked about stuff, and I don't know why.
It sounds to me like you're just bitter that you couldn't make content gloating about how you got to play the campaign before anyone else did. Not that you simply just couldn't play the damn thing as a fan. And because every other Halo fan who wants to play the game just as badly as you do is gonna have to wait until day one, it's kinda hard for my heart to bleed for you. When your whole whinge fest is about having to wait until the day that everybody gets to enjoy the game. Hell, something people who watched your video probably didn't even consider is that most people will have to wait to play the game even on day one because they'll have to go to work that day. Something you won't even have to worry about then, right? Because your whole living is about video games? Like, dude, you get to play Halo Infinite for work. Why are you complaining?
The street cleaners, man. They're coming around.
They're coming around!
You know, I don't know if I'm being entitled or needy or if I'm just plain old a salty sea dog. But do you understand how I feel? Like, I don't post just Halo videos, but I post a lot of Halo videos. I put so much time and effort into a lot of stuff that I've done on this platform, and so much of it has been Halo.
While I understand where you're coming from, yes, it's just plain old entitlement. That's what it is. You want privileges that are granted to a select few, and you're bitching that you didn't get them. And while at least you have the self-awareness to mention entitlement, it doesn't erase the fact that you're speaking from entitlement. It especially sounds entitled coming from you who has just about everything going for him on this platform. Like, I don't think you're in a position to bitch about anything, really. Like, yeah, it's one thing if you want to bitch about a broken video game product that you paid full price for. Like, sure, that's what YouTube's for, after all. And it's another thing if you want to bitch about getting copyright struck and losing all your revenue for a video you worked really hard on. I can perfectly understand that. But you're just kinda having a sulk like a kid who didn't get his Christmas present early. That's what this is. And yes, you do work hard and you do make your videos and you do have a fan base, mazel tov. Wouldn't your time be better spent making said videos on something else you're passionate about instead of once again trying to jump on the flavor of the month, which you now have a tendency to do, by the way, speaking as a long-time viewer? And all this because you didn't get a pre-release code? Now, I know there's a whole bunch of sheep that are going to flood the comments being like, oh, but Actman is passionate about Halo. What are you talking about, Noms? To which I say, yeah, That's great. And he's going to be able to play it day one like the rest of us. So can he please cut out the bitching? He's just sulking that he isn't able to gloat about having early access to the game on his channel like the rest of them are doing. Granted, I'm not fond of anyone getting a pre-release code. I think it's a cheap marketing ploy and it gives certain creators special privileges and just complete free fucking reign to just post spoilers about the product at their whim, which I'm personally not a fan of, and I can't imagine many people are.
I've been so hyped for Infinite leading up to this release, and launch has been very disappointing in a lot of ways and very exciting in other ways. I've been around this franchise for a long time, and I've made videos on this franchise for a long time. Some good, some positive, some bad, some amazing, some wacky, some weird. He's coming back. The street cleaner that won't leave me alone.
Maybe another reason why you could have chosen to do this video when you weren't sick, perhaps?
Let me salt in my own agony. Let me salt my own wounds. I can't help but feel like Squidward and feel jealous and feel like I'm missing out and feel like I've been snubbed for an Academy Award or whatever.
So you're basically feeling like the rest of us who don't get to play the game early? Again, my heart doesn't really bleed for you. You've got so much to be thankful for and you're whining about not getting this. Also, snubbed for an Academy Award, that's your analogy for losing Halo Early Access privileges despite the fact that you made some successful videos about it? Delusions of grandeur much?
When I see people with far less of an audience, of far less Halo experience getting the chance that I want, is that wrong of me to feel jealous? I don't think so. I think everyone they've given a code to, everyone that I've seen so far, I think they deserve it. I think they're all great people. I love you all. Yeah, I'm glad you're having fun. But I'm Squidward. I'm Squidward right now.
I'm Squidward. I'm Squidward. Squidward, Squidward, Squidward.
No, you know what? I'll side with you here and say I think it's bullshit that YongYea got an early access code to Halo Infinite instead of you. I don't give a fuck how big his audience is. You have the Halo audience, and you are far more acquainted with the franchise, even though I disagree with a lot of what you say. You definitely should have been considered, over him at least. That said, I'm against creators getting early access codes to begin with. One, because I don't think it's very fair at all to the majority of fans, and two, isn't this kind of what CD Projekt Red did with Cyberpunk? They allowed creators early access, but made them sign NDAs so they couldn't disclose some consumer-friendly details about the state of the game's launch, and they could only use PC content footage that was approved by CD Projekt Red themselves. Now, granted, from what I've seen, these creators who have been granted early access to Halo Infinite's campaign do appear to be using their own gameplay footage, so fair play to 343 on that, but I'm still against this early release code bollocks because unless it's mandated that the details of the game aren't released until day one reviews, I don't really mind if people get to play the games or watch the movies early, as long as they keep it to themselves. But that aside, you say you're jealous, Actman? You can feel however you want to feel. You can feel as jealous as you want. Nobody is stopping you. But the fact that you're jealous tells me you lack a lot of perspective, because in that very same sentence, you listed a whole bunch of reasons why you shouldn't be jealous. You have this vast fan base. You make a living doing what you love. You have a better quality of life than 99.999% of people on the planet have. Don't be jealous. Be grateful. Be grateful because I can promise there are plenty of people and plenty of content creators that are far more jealous of you.
So there's a couple things. There's the Halo Infinite campaign, and then there's that Forerunners thing where some Halo content creators, streamers, YouTubers were playing Halo Infinite for a while, for a couple years, and they were basically giving feedback on the game for a long time. And when all these people came to Seattle in 2019, like, I was here. I was already here. I was 10 minutes away. It just feels kind of shitty to know that nobody thought of you, or that nobody considered you, or that nobody reached out and said, hey, do you want to come play Halo Infinite? Or do you want to test this out? Do you want to be part of this program? And, 343 might have their own reasons. Like I said, I'm not mad at anybody in particular. I'm just kind of like sad. I'm just disappointed. I just feel out of the loop on something I've cared about for so long, something I've looked forward to for so long. And all these content creators were in Seattle. And it's like, dude, I'm here. I'm a 10-minute drive away. I can bike to 343 if I want to. I can bike there. That's how close it is.
Okay, well, firstly, weren't you and, Hidden Xperia invited to 343 to both test out and promote Halo Wars 2 back in 2017? You even mentioned that later in this very video, so it's not that they haven't considered you in the past. And secondly, I took a glance at those names from the Forerunner Insider program, and I'm now even more convinced that their reasoning wasn't because you criticized them in a manner that got you blacklisted. Again, Late Night Gaming and fucking Farvin got invited. Maybe it's just as simple as 343 felt those creators had better to offer in terms of constructive feedback. Maybe they felt they presented themselves better in their videos than you did. And dude, as a fan again, I gotta tell you, you completely botched your assessment of Halo 4's campaign and gameplay to the point of making me wonder if you intentionally lied about it. But more on that at a later date. What I'm trying to say here is, even though I think it's weird some people were considered over you for the Insider program, maybe on the flip side, there were some legitimate reasons. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Forerunner program wasn't about publicity, it was about testing the game. So I don't imagine audience size factored into that reasoning. If you're testing the game, you want the best people possible. End of story.
You know? You don't have to pay for room and board and flights and food or anything for me. In fact, I could probably save you money because I'm renting a 4-bedroom place. I can host people here. That is my nature. I am kind of a people pleaser. I want everyone around me to be happy because it makes me happy. And maybe it has something to do with who I am as a person and the things that I say and my personality and my persona. I have a very crass sense of humor. I get it from my mother. I like to swear. I like to say fuck and shit a lot. Those are great words to me.
My man.
Halo is an M-rated series of games, so I don't think it's because I don't appeal to a younger audience. But maybe I just pushed the line with what I say and what I've said in the past. And I'm just trying to think right now of why 343 never reached out or why I haven't been considered, because I really want to know. I feel like I've been blacklisted for a long time, and I've just kind of wanted an explanation of where I stand with you guys as a company. Do you think I'm a shitty person? Do you think I'm a bad person or a mean person? What are the reasons that I haven't been considered? Because from a numerical standpoint, my audience is huge. It's really big.
Well, again, we come back to begging sympathy from the masses as the purpose of this video. Shouldn't you have tried reaching out to 343 privately? Hell, if you're a bike ride away from the front door, as you say, go and talk to them. Go and ask them why you weren't considered. Because what this seems like instead is that you're looking to cause a stir and create some outrage on your behalf and have people fight this battle for you and have 343 cave to the mob to grant you early access. In all honesty, this comes across like a baby who just wants his bottle. If you really wanted to solve this properly or figure this out, there were far less public and shameful means of accomplishing that.
I kill it on the views sometimes, and I deserve to be a little cocky about that, don't I? But I kill it. I kill it in the Halo videos. They get a lot of views. That's the truth of it.
Again, you're just kind of proving my point that you don't exactly have a reason to bitch. Like I said, be grateful. Don't cry me a river over this. And also, again, it looks like you're trying to use that audience to create outrage in an attempt to get them to bend the knee. What was stopping you from taking that bike ride and sorting this out like a professional? And also, just for the record, while I admittedly like your videos, let's get something straight. They're chocked full of problems. The most mainstream content, the most viewed content, is not always the most reliable and accurate of content.
I know that I've said dumb shit in the past. I've said controversial things that were hurtful to a lot of people. I'm fully aware of that. Do I think all those same things now? No. I just feel like whatever reasons that I haven't been considered to play Halo Infinite, to be a part of its development and its pre-release material and the multiplayer and the campaign and a chance to give feedback on that in a direct way to 343. I just feel like I just feel like any issues between me and 343 could just be cleared up in 10 or so minutes just by talking.
Then fucking do that. Jesus Christ. Talk to the cunts. Don't sit here fucking sulking about it. And also, while perspectives change and you regret things you say in the past, maturity is always nice and that's a part of life, but don't, walk back on certain things you said just for this. Firstly, it's very disingenuous to do that. And secondly, this is you essentially bending the knee to get some insider goodies from this company. This is like some teacher's pet bullshit. You're a Dragon Ball fan, aren't you? Have you forgotten the immortal words of Vegeta?
But there's one thing a Saiyan always keeps. His pride!
Just by talking, you've said these things in the past. Do you still believe those things? Or we're not sure if this is the right fit. Here are the reasons why we're kind of worried about allowing you to do this. Is this going to be a problem? And, just to have that conversation of just to be considered. I think I make good videos. I think I deserved a code for Infinite. I think I deserve to be a part of the Forerunners. Am I pissed at the people that got that chance before me? Of course not. Of course not. You all deserved it. You all deserved it.
Yes, you make good videos. Flawed videos to be sure, but still good, even great videos, mostly. And you certainly deserved a code more than some who were granted it. That doesn't mean you should be here sulking about it.
Like I said, I'm Squidward.
Meow.
I don't know what to say. And I don't get it either because I went to the Halo Wars 2 launch and that was a great time. And I got early access to Halo Wars 2 way back in the day when I had barely 50,000 subs, when I had barely an audience. And Microsoft sent me a Series X. Am I in good favors or not? Part of me is also salty from like a business standpoint. Why wouldn't you reach out to the guy with 1.2 million subs?
You got a fucking Series X from Microsoft free of charge when it's hard enough to find one of those things to pay full price for, and you're here bitching? Yeah, now I really want to punch you in the face. Where do you get the nerve? This motherfucker got sent a free fucking Series X, and he's here whining that he didn't get into the teacher's pet club with 343. Good lord.
Why are channels with 1% of that audience getting access to something that I don't have access to? I can't help but feel salty. And I think if you're in my position, you probably would too. If you had put this much effort into making Halo content for the last 6 years, you'd probably feel this salty too.
Doesn't mean we'd make a video bitching about it. Again, this is nothing you couldn't have handled privately. You're just after attention and sympathy. You also just want to be a part of the flavor of the month, as always. Funny thing is, you could have actually spent this time making other videos you were passionate about for that giant audience you keep bragging. I mean, you were essentially criticized for taking a dump on Battlefield 2042, correct me if I'm wrong. The release of Battlefield 2042 has since been disastrous. Battlefield 2042 is quite frankly in the toilet at the moment, and I figured you'd be chomping at the bit to double down on your stance on the matter. But instead you're here whinging that you didn't get early access privileges. You could have also made videos talking about Infinite's multiplayer, both its pros and its cons. Or you could have called out 343 for granting an early release demo of the campaign to select creators, and you could have done so in a way that would have actually made some sense, and looked less pathetic. You could have made a video asking why are they only granting the first 4 hours of the campaign? What are they trying to hide? Is this an accurate representation of the game, or are they just showing us what they want us to see, like with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk? You could have raised some healthy skepticism and helped people manage their expectations, etc., etc. But instead, you're just here crying about how unfairly you've supposedly been treated.
I just want like a reason, like an explanation for why I'm not considered for these kinds of things. Because I think I stand out from the crowd, you know? Not to toot my own horn, but I think I've done some pretty incredible things. Like the intro for the Halo 3 review. It took me like 20 hours to put together. It's a straight up shot for shot kind of remake of the Believe trailer. You know, you don't want that guy playing your game early and promoting it in some way or being a part of it. You know, it's not a question about passion. It's not a question about expertise or time played or any of that. I feel like it has something to do with who I am as a person, and that hurts even more.
Jesus Christ. I feel like we're just getting into repetitive territory now. This video really didn't need to be 13 minutes long. Time played and expertise certainly does matter when testing the game, which, I mean, wasn't that the purpose of the Forerunner program? Also, yeah, passion, I guess, should be a factor for consideration. I mean, Hidden Xperia probably jerks off to the classic Mark 6 armor every goddamn night. I mean, he's bitched about it practically every fucking day for the past however many years. I don't think you can get more passionate than that. I certainly don't think passion was a factor when they decided to reach out to Young fucking Yeah and give him early access to the game, because he's not passionate about anything, really. And again, for probably the 5th fucking time now, yes, you probably should have been considered, at least for the campaign demo. Again, no reason to bitch. You have to wait, just like 99% of planet fucking Earth has to wait. I'm so sorry that you have to play Halo Infinite day one like the rest of us. That is, if 343 didn't already cave to this sob story crap.
I'm like Will Smith, like,
How come you don't want me, man?
and it's not like I have a bad rap with anyone in the Halo community. Like, I'm friends with a lot of people in the community. And when I tell them, like, yeah, I don't have access to Infinite or the campaign, like, wait, really? You? And it's like, yes, me. I don't have access.
Yeah, I noticed the Halo YouTuber community fell hook, line, and sinker for this video in the comments section. No surprise there.
I don't know, man. I mean, there's just like a lot of things contributing to this salt, I feel, and this disillusionment. Like, I feel like in some ways I've done a complete 180 from being absolutely hyped for this game to Squidward, to being fucking Squidward and not being able to find enjoyment in parts of life. I guess this stuff has just been on my mind for a few years now. Like what's my relationship with the people that are making the Halo games, and why do they not consider me for things? I'm not entitled to answers. I'm not entitled to play a game before release. You guys pick who does that. But I think it would be nice. I think it would be nice to connect, Maybe see if this goes anywhere.
Jesus Christ, you mean to tell me that because you don't have a relationship with 343 that your hype is killed for the game? I'm sure many of you with the capacity to fucking think can see why I was really frustrated with this video. Where in God's name is this man's perspective on life? Like, holy shit. I don't have a relationship with 343. I never fucking will, and that's okay because they're kinda shit cunts anyway. But that doesn't affect my love or excitement in one way or the other for their product. Ever heard of separating the art from the artist? Granted, I certainly think there's a line when it comes to that, but 343 haven't crossed it. Well, not yet anyway. But Halo 5 was pretty damn close.
Yeah, and I've talked to a lot of people at 343. When PAX rolls around, I've talked to people. Now, maybe this is just a theory, but one guy from 343 was really, really mad at me one time because at the Halo Wars 2 launch party, I was like, filming. People had cameras and shit, but he was having a conversation and he was like, yeah, you need to turn the camera off. And I was like, ha ha ha. And I didn't turn it off, which is kind of dumb, stupid. But like, you don't think of that. You don't think like, oh shit, if what he's saying is something that is not supposed to be heard outside of this room and he thinks I'm going to share it. Like, you don't think of that stuff when you're doing this for the first time and you have barely 50,000 subs. But maybe that is the reason. I don't know. And maybe he thought that I was going to, I can't even remember what he said. I don't think I deleted the video after that. So I don't know.
I don't really have much of a comment on that. Sounds like petulant, narcissistic, petty 343 behavior, if you ask me. But then again, I mean, what's new? Water is wet, in case you didn't know. The sky is blue, night is black, and 343 are run by petulant, incompetent, childish idiots. Moving on.
And you guys know, the way I make videos and the way I post content, it can be very erratic at times. I don't get a lot of pre-review copies or pre-review keys. I get a lot of offers for stuff, but I hardly ever take them.
Oh, wow. I certainly hope you're only referring to pre-release codes there, buddy. I'd struggle to find like 3 recent videos where you haven't had some kind of paid promotion in them. And again, wow, you get all these offers? Nice! So why are you here bitching again? You're not exactly reaching my sympathy gland with this. Quite the opposite, in fact.
I could give a shit if DICE wants me to play the new Battlefield before everyone else. I could give a shit if Activision wants to send me a Call of Duty Vanguard code before it comes out. I care about Halo. That's like, if there's one franchise in this gaming sphere that I would love more than anything to have some kind of impact on, it's Halo. I live in very close proximity to all these big video game developers and publishers. Valve, Bungie, Nintendo, Microsoft, Xbox 343, they're all here. And I only give a shit about Halo.
I feel like we've gone through this already. Like, yeah, you care about Halo, we get it. You want to have an impact on Halo, I get that too. And I'm sure your videos did have some impact. For better or for worse, I'm sure these millions of viewed videos had some impact on where 343 took the franchise. But again, it's not the end of the world. And as a fan, this video is beneath you, dude. It really is.
You know, there's not a lot of pre-release games that I want to play and review just because I like working at my own pace and I don't like feeling pressured and pushed to push out content and videos in a time frame that doesn't suit my ADHD. You know, like Halo is the exception. I mean, I just get those feelings like, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Why am I not good enough? Is it because you don't like me? What about me do you not like? I'm not an unreasonable person. I can deal with criticism as much as I can give it.
Well, I certainly hope so, because that's what this video is meant to be. It's not a personal attack. Sure, it's not exactly polite either, but this is one of your viewers giving his thoughts on how you've gone about dealing with all this pent-up salt that you have.
I'd rather hear it. I'd rather hear why I'm not considered than to not be told anything at all. You know, I understand I can be a hyperbolic douchebag at times. I understand my flaws and I know my content isn't for everyone, but I think my methods work in generating hype and attention and community interaction and people discussing what they love and getting people to appreciate stories and games and good mechanics and bad mechanics. That's what my channel's all about. Is pointing that out, talking about it, having a good time, doing a bit of trolling, memeing, and just making fun videos that I would want to watch about games that I love and that I want to talk about.
Well, here's another thing that I've noticed about you. You do try to pander to as many people as possible, especially recently. Whether it's your takes, your memes, or whatever, you tend to try and include as many, like I said, flavor of the month references in your videos, which, speaking of your videos, are also, more often than not, tend to be flavor of the month as well. And you'll also tend to regurgitate takes on things you know very little about because they're popular or because you perceive them to be popular or the status quo on the internet. Like your ignorant comments on George Lucas, constantly dumping on the guy, would be a prime example of that. Sorry, I know that's a tangent and quite off topic, but again, I am speaking from a viewer's perspective here, and I am one in a sea of thousands who are part of this man's audience after all.
So I just wonder what it is about this that isn't good enough. So it's shitty. I'm still excited for Halo Infinite. Well, I won't be playing it early, I don't think. Fingers crossed. I don't know what else to say. I'm salty. I'm happy for people that are playing Halo Infinite's campaign. I've heard nothing but good things so far. I wish I could be saying good things about it too.
Right, so that pretty much brings us to the end of Actman's video. Look, I don't want to make a habit of doing videos like this. Like, I'm all for responding and correcting other people's takes on video games, but this video was bleeding heavily into drama territory, a territory that I am not a fan of venturing into. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for putting up a good fight if drama comes knocking at my door, but it's not something I actively seek out. Though, given who Actman is, I wasn't exactly punching down, as many of you no doubt understand. Make no mistake, I still like the guy. I'll still watch his videos. I'll still support him. Though I can't predict what will happen in the future, and that very well may change. But this video of his felt extremely out of touch, and as a current fan, and as a fellow YouTuber, it was extremely hard to listen to and sit through, because it honestly made me sick to hear the guy complain about something so petty, when given his position on the platform, he has pretty much no reason to. Not to mention, as I said, YouTuber sob stories just quite frankly suck in general, unless of course it's about something important, such as their livelihoods being threatened unfairly, or God forbid a serious illness of some kind, among other things that actually matter. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed my response. I know there's a good chunk of you who it won't resonate with, given that I was criticizing one of your favorite YouTubers, but I know there's a lot of you out there in the real world who will no doubt understand and agree with where I'm coming from with this. But no matter who you are, thanks for watching. Feel free to check out the rest of my channel, and I've even left a link to my primary channel below, where I post most of my videos. You can join my Discord if you wish. I've left the link below if you want to chat to my community about video games and other stuff as well. A special thank you to my patrons for supporting these videos. I've left the link to Patreon below if you're interested in becoming one. A special thank you to A British Potato for helping me with the audio editing for this video. I've left the link to his channel below. Check him out, he makes great stuff. And finally, here's one last thank you for staying till the end of the video. You are a legend, and I'll see you next time.